All right, as they say in Hollywood, take two. Thank you for all of you last night that told me after I had, well, not after, but I couldn't see all the comments while it was going on last night. So it wasn't until later that I saw that my video did not even have any sound. So I'm crossing my fingers. I think I have my problem solved right now, but we're going to get into it and we'll see what happens when this recording's done, because again, I won't see your comments until later. And if I have to record a third time, I'll record a third time. I'll get it right yet. I'm not, well, I did find out that my sound input had gotten turned off in my, good grief, my shirt's all lopsided. All right, well, we're gonna look like that. My sound got turned off in my input, so you don't need to know that, but anyway, I think I have it figured out, so we'll see what happens tonight. So, warning, your winter look is about to be canceled. Spring called, bing, bling, bling, like that, and it wants your glow up stat. So say goodbye to dry skin, dull tones, and makeup that screams, I just gave up. I'm glad you're joining me tonight again, or on playback to hear about the spring makeup trends. You're going to be looking so fresh, even the flowers are going to be jealous too. So spring is a time for renewal, for optimism, and in case of this year's biggest makeup trends, a time when people are trying to make sense of the world through what they're putting on their faces. Isn't that interesting? There's a quote from Ellie Luna, which is a New York makeup-based artist, and she says, there seems to be a need for escape, a need for fantasy when it comes to makeup. So this is a little bit about what we're seeing, and that's like, whoa, that's a little bit more fantasy than I want. But what I'm going to help tonight is to help to bring the trends and be able to pull them into something that you'll be able to use for yourself if you choose. And we're going to have a discussion about that tonight too. People want to have their personalities reflect more in their makeup. Personality and fantasy doesn't have to mean over-the-top makeup like we saw with the pink and the blue around the eye like that. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to look, doesn't want to look like they're wearing a lot of makeup. So that could mean a strong emphasis on skin, and that's where we come in, and defined eyes, and holding off on adding certain elements, like the element of a fashion's take one thing off. So oftentimes when we get dressed in the morning, we're supposed to look at ourselves and take one accessory off. And so that's kind of like what they're talking about here, is taking one thing off in your makeup routine. Maybe you're going to have a winged eyeliner, but no mascara. That sounds like a crazy thing to me. A beautiful blush, but no foundation. Again, sounds kind of crazy. Or the lip liner is there without the lipstick. And if I had lip liner on without lipstick, my lips would be colored in. So in the end, it is really about you and what makes you feel good. So I want you to hear that. In the end, it's really about you and what makes you feel good. So the trends, the first one is pastels. And pastels, I think, are easy to kind of understand. This can be on your lips, they can be on your eyes, they can be on your cheeks. They're muted, and they also offer a playful yet refined burst of color on the face. They add luminosity, which means that gives a little bit of a glow to the skin. And this look is easier to achieve now than in the past because the formulas previously had kind of a chalky appearance, or there might have been some frosted shimmer that was in there. And Mary Kay has updated many years ago. I didn't go back and look, but many years ago, maybe some of my friends can help me out in the comments, but many years ago, Mary Kay went back and updated to our color, oh my goodness, color, I can't think of the word right now, with our cheek chromafusion. There we go, chromafusion for our cheeks and our eyes. And so they reformulated, taking it away from that chalky way. So an easy way to try this trend right now is that start with a bronzy base, mascara, they're actually telling you to have mascara on, a bit of contouring and highlighting, and a juicy neutral lip like I've got on tonight. So juicy neutral, the new lip oil from Mary Kay. This one happens to be in berry, but blush is a great color too. And then adding a touch of pastel in any of the shades along the inner corner of the eye. Now, I didn't get that done tonight, so, but anyway, that's how to update that pastel beyond what you saw earlier. So the next trend is minky brown eyeshadows. Let's take a picture here. Minky brown, throw on a matte brown eyeshadow, blend it all over your lid, and voila, you've mastered one of the spring's easiest and biggest eyeshadow trends, which also happens to be tried and true on makeup artist technique for softly enhancing the eye. A neutral brown is a flattering staple that can be dressed up or dressed down. Last night you saw me, didn't hear me, but last night I had denim on. I think brown and denim looks stunning. But backstage at Fashion Week, brown eyeshadow has probably been the most used makeup product because it's a great way to achieve a no makeup effect. And one of the shadows that I really enjoy in our Mary Kay line is our espresso color. And that's this particular one right over here. Just a really great brown. And if you saw on the models that I showed you, we'll pop that color back, or the screen back up. You can see we've got something like a cinnabar on the gal on the left. She's going part way up. And then probably the espresso color on the gal on the right. And you can see they're not taking it all the way to the top of the eye, but lid and all the way up into the crease, and then using something very light underneath the brow. All right, so the next one after that is called Fresh Skin. Fresh Skin, I think, kind of talks for, explains itself. I don't think I need a picture for this necessarily, but people want to show off some skin this season. Makeup artists have seen a marked shift away from heavier formulas, and the clients are seeking base products that provide like a skin-like finish or allow their complexion to shine. So this is a little bit of a nod to Mary Kay is retiring, for lack of a better word, retiring the cream to powder foundation out of our line. And for this reason, more customers, not everybody, but more customers are desiring a look that is more skin-like. And that's where I think our CC cream comes in and does a great job there. But I'm going to give you some tips that if you're wanting to use the luminous or the matte foundation, what to do for that too. But the emphasis right now is looking fresh-faced and polished with a focus on skincare as the base. So having a solid skincare routine is the most important step. That's masking, exfoliating, along with cleansing, moisturizer minimum, and then you might have some other supplements that are enhancing your skin. And then you're going to want to follow it up with glow-inducing makeup products that have never been easier, like a skin tint, like our CC cream, which is both hydrating and buildable. The benefit with ours also has a sunscreen in it too. And it's a great way to keep your skin looking glowy. But if you can't quit your foundation, there are some tricks that you can do to make it look skin-like. So first you're going to mix a few drops of your foundation with a little bit of moisturizer. I'd probably mix them on the back of my hand instead of in my fingers. But being against your skin will warm that up for you too. And then you can take our foundation brush and just do a stippling motion all over the face to help give you the coverage that you desire. And then take our blending sponge and get it wet 13 times, squeeze, 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 squeeze up to 13 times to get your sponge up. And then take it and bounce it across the face, the forehead area to pick up any excess pigment and to allow that luminosity and the skin to kind of have that seamless look. Then you can go back and spot treat. If you took away too much in a certain area because of maybe some redness in the cheeks or whatever, you can go back and you can add a little bit more coverage. So that helps with that fresh face look. The next one we're going to be talking about is Vintage Glamour, and this one's kind of fun. If you prefer makeup that looks like you're wearing makeup, hello, that's how I feel. I like to look like I'm wearing makeup. There's a spring trend for you too, so there's a spring trend for me. Modern celebs, including Zendaya at the Golden Globes, and Cardi B at the Grammys are repeatedly evoking old Hollywood starlets with classic gowns, retro-inspired updos, and ultra-polished makeup looks too. Of course, the reference to the old Hollywood makeup on the red carpet, it's not a new thing at all. What makes this resurgent feel unique is just how modern these references are, despite being clear nods to icons like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe. The heavy powder and the fierce contouring are gone. Heck, you barely saw a red lip. You can see on these two ladies here, they did not have a red lip on. And what is happening is they are replacing that heavy powder and fierce contouring. That's gone. And in their place is fresh, luminous skin, immaculately groomed brows, soft contouring around the eyes, and cheekbones, and then a subtle neutral tone lip shade too. It's taking the wisdom of what we know now and filtering those intense super powder fantasy vibes into something like something that feels like you can touch it, like it's real. The next one up is called Romantic Blush. And this one, whether your makeup is clean and fresh or full on, blush is still one of the makeup category's most popular products. So don't skip your blush. And what's cool is powder blush is making a comeback because it gives skin an airbrushed effect, and a little luminosity, if you've got a little bit of shimmer in the cheek color, is also a great way to recreate the diffuse romantic looks that we're seeing on the red carpet. Layer different shades of peach, pink, and terracotta blush, and you can also tap into the watercolor blush trend that's resurfacing this spring. So when I hear about a watercolor blush trend, I think about a blush brick, which I learned from one of our makeup artists, and that's putting together different shades of blush and then using a cheek brush and brushing across them and applying. And this palette actually is what you're seeing on my cheeks tonight. So it just gives kind of a sunset type. It's not peach, it's not, and don't be afraid of this color, it's not rose, it's not mauve, it's just fresh is the only way that I can describe that. And it's making a resurgence, and it is important whether you want to have the no makeup look. A week ago we saw something from Lori Hogg, and Lori was putting her cheek color on first and then putting like a CC cream over the top of it. And it was a more diffused, maybe a watercolor trend also too. So next one up is Laissez-Faire Lip Combos. And this one, let's make sure I get my right slide here. Yeah. And this one, the internet can't seem to stop talking about. There's been a mystifying lack of lipstick, though, in these combos, which is kind of interesting. And the recent runway and red carpets, makeup artists have been into layering lip balm or lip gloss over lip liner for a fresher, more multidimensional look. That's what I did tonight with the berry, was used a lip liner and then put the berry lip oil over the top. Makeup artists have been into, a lot of these people don't want to think about touching up their lips, and so a long wear lip liner is key when layering the lip balm and gloss on top. When working with these combination, makeup artists are starting out by outlining the lip and then taking a brush and a lip brush, and then, or you could use one of our cream shadow brushes, and brushing in the lip line a little bit so the color infuses into the center of the lips, and then is putting the lip product over the top too. This way you don't have any harsh edges, but your lip looks significantly more enhanced. And then you can gloss or put that tinted lip balm over the top, and it just kind of seems to melt right and blends the two seamlessly too. The next one's kind of interesting. Tulip Pink Lips. Here we go. In a year dominated by neutrals and berry tones, one splashy color seems to be popping up over and over, and that is your tulip pink, or kind of a hot pink type of a look. For an extra effect that has a lived-in look, look at the gal on the right. Look how lived in her lip color looks too. But it also is a little extra. You can apply the color using a small lip brush again, so into the center of the lips, then tapping the pigment with your fingertip and kind of blending out. But as you can see, neither lip in this picture goes all the way to the edge. It's just kind of like a haphazard type of an application. Once you get that pigment kind of tapped out with your fingertip a little bit so that it disappears as it reaches that lip line, then to intensify that center on both of them here, you take a matching lip liner and kind of color in there, and that gives the effect of a flower in bloom. Little strange, not sure that's something I want to go. I actually get that on my own just throughout the day as I'm wearing my lip color. I do a lot of licking of my bottom lip, and so it goes away anyway. So I get the tulip pink lip look without the pink color and all the other steps that went with it. The next one is brown mascara. This spring, you can lighten up a bit when it comes to your lashes. That's brown mascara. We do have a black brown. It's the season's biggest lash trend. The reason for it is that it's still giving you some definition around the eyes without the intensity of the black pigment. And it also lets you dip your toe into the no mascara trend if you're hesitant about leaving your lashes bare. Well, now we all know Stacey Waters, or I think most of you know Stacey Waters, that does a lot of our makeup things on a monthly basis. And you know that she loves her mascara. This is probably not a trend that she's going to hop on. Probably not going to be a trend of brown mascara, and for sure not going to be one with a no mascara look. But I just want to tell you that even though it may be a big trend, brown mascara is not for everyone. So in my opinion, hooded eyelids, they need something a little bit more than brown in order to give definition to the eye area. Also, if you have darker skin tone, having brown mascara on can do the opposite and make your lashes look almost invisible. And you don't necessarily want that particular look going on either. Not really good. So, all right, the last thing is the unapproachable makeup. And the unapproachable makeup is popular among content creators. Think anime, I think is how they pronounce that or whatever, is a makeup that helps you look sexy, mysterious, there we go, sexy, mysterious, and intentionally intimidating. And it's for spring 2025. It's trickling from TikTok into real life. So I think of those animated movies that we've seen before where everything is really exaggerated. The hair is exaggerated, the shoulder pads on the clothes, you know, the wings on the eyes. And you could see the gal with those ice blue eyes on the left there with that mascara, or not mascara, eyeliner around there. Wow, I mean, that is like stunning, and it draws your attention. And then we've got, you know, the cat eye, or the winged eyeliner on the gal on the right too. They're seeing more and more women interested in how they can feel more powerful and strong in their makeup. And while everybody's interpretation is different, most of the unapproachable look includes the dramatic eyes that we're seeing here. And sharply contoured features. We can see that mostly on the gal on the right instead of on the left because of the angle of the photo too. And it's a general defiance of the clean girl beauty aesthetics that's been everywhere for the past couple of years. They're like over it. They want to have some little bit of drama about them too. And if you think about animated things, there's usually some kind of drama that's going on too. Their idea is to inject a bit of escapism and main character image into their everyday experience. It can be, like I said, the like liner, as there's always something about a wing that makes a woman feel stronger. And of course, the features are sculpted to perfection. So still a lightweight foundation, but sculpting is strong. All right. Whew. That was a lot of options for this spring. Would you not agree? In fact, I think I counted maybe 8 to 10, somewhere in there. lot of options. So let's talk about this a little bit. You know, in a past life, um, I did fashion merchandising, and so there's always trends in fashion too, as well as with hairstyles, as well as with makeup. And I want to say this about trends, as it was already pointed out tonight too in the information that was shared, that trends come and go, and you can dip your toe into it and make it be what you want it to be. But there's also something special about you picking about a look that looks best for you. And you can do that with your beauty consultant. And then look to see ways that you can introduce, like the little pastel on the inside corner. And if it fits you, to wear the brown mascara or a lighter mascara. If it fits you, go from your full coverage foundation to a CC cream, or move to a neutral lip oil, and bring something like that in. Or if you want to do the more unapproachable makeup, as I said, really do something dramatic with your contouring and or with the eyes. But at the end of the day, the trend is all about what makes you feel comfortable. I don't think there's anything right or wrong about any of those. It's just, how do you want to express yourself? How do you want to show up when you're dressed on a daily basis? And how do you want to show up with your hair or your hairstyle too? So it is what it is, right? So I want to thank you again for coming back and spending time with me, whether you're live this evening with me or whether you're going to watch it on replay. I absolutely loved having you here. I loved it last night, although you couldn't have heard me. And before you go, don't forget that the final code word is trends. We're going to be back. I want you to make sure you share the trends with your beauty consultant, because she may have some kind of a special perk for you having watched this video around this spring makeup trends too. I want you to mark your calendars, because in a couple of weeks we're going to be back for a brand new event. Summer tips. I know we just got done with spring. Feels like spring again today. But summer will be coming at some point in time, and we want you ready with, we're going to be sharing some hottest looks, fresh color combos, and easy tips to keep you glowing all season long. You're not going to want to miss it too. And if you are looking for, thinking about hostessing a girls' night in and scoring some free products, or maybe you're ready to join our pink bubble and get 50% off your favorites, either way, your consultant has you covered too. So reach out to her and ask some questions. You know, if it hadn't been for me asking questions, I wouldn't be here. And I'm pushing up on anniversary number 33 in August. Can't believe that. So again, thanks for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of the evening, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Have a great night. Bye.